The day I told my sister I saw her husband at a stranger's funeral, he vanished. My world turned upside down the day I saw Mike at a stranger's funeral. I had to know what was going on, and it was only the beginning of my worst nightmare. Mike had always been a bit of a mystery. He married my sister Sarah a few years back. They lived quietly in an old Victorian house on Maple Street. The house always felt too quiet, like it was hiding secrets. Mike worked odd hours downtown and kept to himself. One night I couldn't sleep. I turned on the news to distract myself. There on the screen was Mike standing at a funeral. The name on the casket wasn't one I recognized. He was dressed in a suit that looked too formal for a regular office job. A dark, tailored suit, the kind you'd wear to an important event. I squinted at the TV, trying to make out more details. The funeral was taking place in a small chapel on the other side of town. The news anchor mentioned the name of the deceased, but it didn't ring any bells. I grabbed my phone, snapping a picture of the TV screen to save the image. I didn't know what to make of it. Sarah had never mentioned anyone close to Mike passing away. The next day, I decided to confront Mike. I drove to their house. The house looked different in the daylight, almost sinister. I knocked on the door, my heart pounding. Sarah answered, her eyes red and puffy like she'd been crying. "Mike's not here," she said, her voice shaky. "He's out of town on business." I could see the fear in her eyes, the way she kept glancing over her shoulder. "Sarah, I saw him last night," I said, "at a funeral." Her face paled and she quickly closed the door. Over the next few days, I started noticing more strange things. Mike's car was still in the driveway, but he was nowhere to be found. I peeked through the windows, seeing shadows moving in the dimly lit rooms. Sarah avoided my calls, and when I finally managed to get her on the phone, she sounded like she was crying. "Leave it alone," she pleaded, her voice barely a whisper. "It's for the best." I couldn't just leave it alone. I had to know the truth. I searched their house, finding old letters hidden in the attic dated years before they even met. They were addressed to Mike from someone named Emma, and the contents were cryptic. "Meet me at the usual place," one letter read. "We can't let anyone find out." Another letter mentioned a secret that could destroy them both. I was more confused than ever. Who was Emma? What secret were they hiding? And where was Mike? I decided to follow Sarah one day, hoping to find some answers. She drove to an old, abandoned house on the outskirts of town. The house was overgrown with ivy, the windows boarded up and the roof sagging. I parked a safe distance away and watched as she went inside. After what felt like hours, she finally emerged, her face streaked with tears. She looked around nervously, like she was afraid of being followed. I drove to the house. I was almost at the door, reaching out for the handle. "Follow so you don't miss part 2.